yoga tips for opening up your upper back and chest using props. I don't suggest you do all of these all at once, but if you're a student who wants to learn how to open up your upper back, some of these will be useful to you. And if you're a teacher, you'll be able to incorporate these into some of your classes over the course of the next few months. Okay, so we've got a whole assortment of props ready for our use. We've got a blanket, a strap, 2 blocks, and a chair, and an extra sticky mat. First one, we use a blanket roll. So you take the blanket in this rectangular shape, make it into a nice tight roll. You place the roll on your sticky mat. I'm going to lay down on the blanket so that the blanket goes into the middle of my shoulders. Then I'm going to drag myself this way towards my head so that the blanket grips my shoulders and the skin on my shoulder blades and draws it down my back. I take my arms up and use gravity to help integrate my arm bone into the shoulder socket. And take my arms out to the side like a goalpost or a scarecrow. Real thing here is just to relax, where you get an upper back bend, you get your chest to open, and you can use gravity for this posture. Okay, that's a great one. The next one, we use 2 blocks. And a strap. You take the strap, you want to make it into a loop. Just make sure it's got one of those good D-rings on the end, good clasp. The strap goes too much armpit to armpit. So this first block is going to go right where I have the blanket, not underneath my shoulders, but right in the middle of my shoulder blades. And the second block, I rest my head on it, so I support my neck. Take the strap around my upper arms, and just like I did with the blanket roll, I use gravity to help me integrate. Then I take my arms up over my head. Usually there's a little run-in with this strap in your hairline for just a moment. Now we've added a shoulder stretch to the upper back opening, and some work to keep your arms straight and integrated. All right. Just like that. This is a great one if your neck is needs support. If you can do without the neck support, there's a way to take this one into a little bit of a deeper posture. Again, when you place this first block, place yourself over the block. There's a tendency to put it really low because right there around the T12 vertebrae, our backs bend, and we want to put the bend up higher, where it doesn't bend so easily or so naturally. So that the bottom tips of my shoulder blades are on this block. I use gravity here to plug in. I take the top of my throat back like I'm giving myself a double chin, and then take my head back and reach my arms back. If I lift my hips up, I can now grab the outside edges of my sticky mat and then lower my hips back down. This is a much more intense version of the one that came before. If you're a teacher, I would recommend this for your stiffer students, and I wouldn't put it in a level 1 type class, but your advanced students would appreciate it. It's a really great way to get the upper back open for good poses like Pinchamariyasana and Urdhva Dhanurasana, and even Pada Raja Kapotasana, those pigeon poses. Next one's use a chair. You'll see that I have a backless chair. I have a sticky mat folded on the top of the backless chair. Once again, I want my shoulder blades on the chair, my head on the chair, and there's 3 arm positions I'm going to show you. I make sure the bottom tips of my shoulder blades are on the chair. Put my head down, and like we've been practicing, this is the first one, position. So like we've been practicing, take your arm bones back. Now here, get my arm bones integrated, and now I lower my hips. That's stage 1. Stage 2 is to grab the back of the chair like so. Same work to take the arm bones into your shoulder sockets and then lower your hips. Even though you're putting a deep bend into your lumbar spine and bending over this chair, still keep your low belly active and keep keep taking your tailbone deeper into your body. That's stage 2. Stage 3, I stretch my arms through my chair and grab a hold of the cross bar, if you have one, behind you. Then, do the same action of plugging the arm bones into the shoulder sockets and lower your hips. Slide towards your hips to come up. The next one is a little bit more intense way to use the chair. And again, not for your beginners, but a really good one for your advanced students. And you need a flimsy sticky mat. One of the big mats won't work for this, some of the old school thin ones, because I need it folded into 8s. So I make a column, and I take it around the back of my chair, like so. I'm going to show you this from the side, and then show you how I suggest practicing it. The same way that we've been practicing all of these placements, I bend down low to put the chair right in the middle of my shoulder blades, across the back. Then I drag myself towards my head so that the sticky mat grips my shoulder blades and the skin on the shoulder blades and draws it down my back. Then I take my hands to grab a hold of the chair seat. You'll see that I'm coming up on the balls of my feet to get a little bit more leverage, at which point I suck my arm bones into my shoulder sockets, move my tailbone into my body, and then lower my heels. This too has 3 stages. You can come up in between each stage. Next one is the hands here on the sides of the chair. And the third one is to walk your hands all along the chair seat to grab the back. And then lower your heels. To come out, and lower my hips, lift my chest, and come on up. One thing to keep in mind with this is if you don't have the right action of the chair, your chair will start to come this way. It'll be really scary, and that tells you that you've got the flow of the energy going in the wrong direction, because you want your weight to be going this way, and the only thing moving in the opposite direction is that flow of the shoulder blades down your back. So I usually practice that not in the middle like I showed you, but with the support of the wall, so that I can walk my hands down the wall to get to those 3 steps. These are just great ways to open up your upper back, to help your students who are stiffer, great preparations for all of your back bend postures and any actual heart-opening themes that you want to support with postural emphasis. Have fun!